almost like they'd won the Champions League, and who can blame them, Luis? This is a big night for them.
It's a massive night for them, yeah, and the atmosphere has been incredible. They deserve, actually, to win this game, or at least to get something from it, because from the first minute, they had a plan, and they stick to it. Having the crowd and the side, we talked about them. At home, they are a very difficult team. When they play away, they struggle a bit more, but today, they show us that they got more energy, they got more desire to get something from today's game, and until the last minute they fought, and they managed to get the 3 points, very important 3 points for them from now on.
And they kept a clean sheet for the first time in 24 Champions League games as well, Clarence, and that for them tonight will be also another big statement. They've kept Liverpool and that very, very expensive attacking team that they have there out.
Yeah, I mean, you said it well, Luis. The team from minute one had a very clear game plan. They were disciplined in executing it. High pressure, courage, compact. When they had to sit down, they had, they had it with all the 11 players. And I think that impressed me most, I have to say, is that tactically he made the right moves, and the players really were clear in their head what to do. Liverpool, I would say that the energy they brought was not enough. You need to equal the energy to be able to have your quality, superiority, the quality really have the better of the things. Today was just not enough for Liverpool. 2 losses in a row. I think he has a lot to think about in how to manage the next upcoming big match.
Yeah, 2 losses in a row for only the second time for Arne Slot, the first being that PSG and then Carabao Cup defeat at the hands of Newcastle back in March. And that kind of in its context shows you what a successful time he's had at the club since he arrived. But this feels like certainly one of the wobbliest, certainly one of the periods where there is really something to think about for him and his team, and how at the moment things aren't gelling.
Yeah, things aren't gelling at the moment, but by the same token, there's still a lot of time, of course, to figure out the best system, the best players in the system. He's still trying to decide the right rhythm and how the players are going to implement his tactics. And I think right now they're not there yet. They're conceding a lot more chances. I can't tell you the last time they've not scored. I think when you look at the nature of how the team's playing right now, they're not the same team they were last year. You can see the chemistry's not right at this present moment in time, but they've got plenty of time to get it right. It's not panic stations right now. It's so early in the season that it's not a time to panic for the players. But the manager will be bitterly disappointed with the performance tonight, because they weren't at the races. They were here. We knew what this atmosphere was going to be like. Tense atmosphere. You got to quiet these fans down. I've heard them singing all night. They've been in choir mode all night. It was the players' job to show that intensity, that tenacity that would quieten these fans down, and that is what Liverpool are known for. Pressure, for wearing their hearts on their sleeves, putting teams under serious pressure for 90 minutes, and today it wasn't there. At the end of the day, they didn't do the things that they're known for doing. In turn, you don't get the results you're used to getting.
I think that the thing about pressure can come when you are compact. The thing that Liverpool has always shown, and that's why I'm not worried, because I'm sure this is something he will fix. The coach doesn't want a team that is long and not compact. So that part will be fixed, but that was lacking today very clearly. From the first minute, every time in the build-up, it was too easy for Galatasaray to find the free man, too easy to go from left to right. And those things, generally, I don't know what it has. Maybe not the legs, maybe not the right mindset at the moment. It can be a lot of things. But you say they have time, yes, but also you don't have a lot of time because you don't want to enter in a very negative cycle.
Yeah, Luis, we saw that, what Clarence just described, personified in the goal, didn't we? Because fine margins, Dijk on a goal with a great chance. They could have scored, but then it goes on the other end and everything changes.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't the first one. They had another option just right before he tried to tap it and pass the keeper. Another option right there for Gakpo, I think, is the one in charge of that one. And in the counter-attack, what the guy is mentioning, a lot of space, there is no pressure on the player. Right here, you have to stop the player. You need to be closer to it, don't allow him to turn around and look up. And that's what he's got, time to look up. And just one pass breaks the line of pressure. Another pass, and he's putting it in 1v1 situation. And that's what they've been looking for the rest of the game. Isolate the players on the wide area, try to 1v1, and then it's unfortunate because he's obviously making a penalty. But it's not about the penalty, it's about why this situation happened one, twice, three times quite easily in the first 45 minutes, less in the second half because they kind of bring back the low block. But when you are 1-0 in this kind of hostile environment with the fans behind them, it's going to be more difficult to go against them and try to get a first goal.
Yeah, and Victor Osimhen converting the penalty, which turned out to be the only goal of the game. They had their chances as well, of course. Galatasaray, we'll talk about those. But they did bring pressure upon themselves, Liverpool, didn't they, with unforced errors tonight?
They did. There was some loose passes at times. People weren't playing fast enough, making decisions quick enough when on the ball. And, you know, Galatasaray, you have to give them credit for what they did. At the end of the day, we can talk about the things Liverpool didn't do, but the things that Galatasaray did was work their absolute socks off across the pitch for 90 minutes and ensure that Liverpool weren't comfortable in their stadium. We see all these mistakes we're talking about. It's that one split second that you believe you have the time. They don't have the time because Galatasaray are at them every moment. I'm not going to say that teams in the Premier League that are used to playing against are doing that, but these players are used to controlling games and having time and having the structure, and the teams being in low blocks. This team have gone, we're going toe-to-toe, we're going to press you, we're going to set you traps, you're going to fall into them. And Liverpool were doing that time and time again. They did control the game for large parts of it. Liverpool did. Possession stats would state that. But when you're talking about the chances, possession doesn't win games, and Galatasaray's plan works perfectly.
And the funny thing is that you talk about the errors and all this stuff, but you know, Galatasaray is champion of Turkey, and in Champions League you meet others with the same mindset.
Yeah.
So it's always about who is capable to imposing, your game.
And then Allison at the end there, well, not at the end of the match, but obviously at the end of that run there, we see come off. Mamachvili has to come on. We don't know how long that's going to keep him out. Kind of feels like it's rubbing salt in the wound for Liverpool tonight.
Yeah, of course, and probably if he's out because of a muscle injury, he's going to be out for a little while, and Mamachvili has to step out. It's a keeper that has been proven. We know the quality, so it's time for his opportunity and grab it. But again, it's another thing that you're going to have to. It's another player that is going to be involved into a kind of understanding of what is going to be next to Liverpool. But again, I think it's what Clarence was mentioning about with the spaces and how wide and open it was Liverpool at most of the time. Galatasaray knew when to make the press, and the whole team went to press, went to go back in a low block, and all the team went in a low block. Liverpool went in some waves to kind of press, but the line of defense was quite open, and then it was easier for Galatasaray to kind of be more dangerous in counter-attack. So it was all about happening at every phase, but Liverpool wasn't ready to use it.
Big win for them, because they haven't had a win here at home in the Champions League for 7 seasons. They haven't had a clean sheet in 24 matches. Okay, we are going to hear, though, some reaction from Liverpool and their team. We're going to start with the manager, Arne Slot, with Gabriel Clark.
Arne, you were disappointed, I know, on Saturday against Crystal Palace. So how do you sum up tonight?
No, again, disappointed because you lose, and that's what football is about. It's about winning. But for me, this was a different performance on the ball and off the ball than it was last Saturday. First half, I think we played quite well. We had a big chance to go 1-0 up, and in the counter-attack, I don't think he touched him with his leg. It was the hand that made it a penalty. Yeah, difficult circumstances to play in, by the way, not only for us.
Is the frustration that counter-attack felt a little bit like other chances you've given up this season? Maybe that there were some self-inflicted moments?
No, I don't know. It's difficult to compare situations from before. I think we controlled the counter-attack. Was a pass on the inside. Dominic was there to control it. He cut the ball inside. Dominic did nothing wrong. He felt a little flick in his face. He fell down. I think there is something. We are sometimes a bit outsmarted in situations like this, and I cannot blame Dom for the situation, but they make from a 20% penalty, maybe 100% penalty, and that is something what is very smart of them.
If theirs was a 100% penalty, well, what about the Liverpool penalty claim?
It wasn't a claim, the referee gave it.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a claim. And he was in pain. So I also saw that the player played the ball. So yeah, this is always such a difficult thing. The amount of times I've seen when a referee gives a penalty and then the VAR says afterwards, yeah, there's definitely contact. So he definitely hits him touch forward. Although he played the ball, there was contact. So I've seen VAR not interfering in moments like this. And I've also seen VAR's interfering in moments like this. So yeah, then it's just a bit unlucky. It wasn't a dive from Ibu. He got a hard kick on his foot. But the referee decided that it wasn't. Or the VAR decided, and the referee went with it. So then you have to accept that.
How far off the level of last season do you feel the team are?
For me, not so far. But yeah, we've lost now twice in a row. This is sometimes what the schedule can bring as well. Galatasaray away is not a simple game, not an easy game. It's the same like Palace, and now we play Chelsea away, so difficult games. But Palace, for example, was a game that we last season won with 1-0 when we didn't concede a set piece. Now we conceded twice, we lost 2-1. So the margins are small. The margins were very small last season, but then we weren't a lot of times on the right side of the score, and today again the margins were really small. But for the second time in a row in the wrong side.
Is that then saying you're not far from being the team you were last season? You feel you'll get back that authority and composure quickly?
Yeah, for me I saw a lot of things. Like I said today, first half, the way we played, the way we controlled the game, the amount of times that we got our attackers in promising positions. But in the second half, that was much less. But I don't think the second half there was a lot of playing time. I only think their number 9. No, he doesn't wear the number 9, but their striker was 4 or 5 times on the floor. Substitutions, injuries. It was so difficult to get momentum in the game, and then he did that 8 minutes on, by the way, which was definitely not more than expected for me. And then he blew his whistle exactly after 8 minutes.
Is Florian Wirtz, you talk about sort of momentum and rhythm, is Florian Wirtz getting closer to that player you expect him to be?
Yeah, but the focus is always on the new signings, which is normal if you see the amount of money we've paid for certain players. But I think Florian today, especially the first half, was many times involved in dangerous situations that we created. And like I said before the game, we from the starting 11 there are maybe 3-4 positions different, and then I have to manage minutes as well, like you could see today. Hugo Ekitike going off, hopefully not in a bad way. Allison going off. So yeah, that's why we do need to rotate a bit, and then it's also normal that maybe everyone is not as adjusted to each other, not new players, but all the players adjusted to each other as you would like. But in the meantime, again, we've only lost 1 Champions League game and only lost 1 Premier League.
If I may just say, how is Allison, by the way?
It's never positive if you go off like this. You can be sure that he's not playing on Sunday, and let's wait how long it's going to take. Saturday, sorry. But he's definitely not going to play on Saturday.
Thank you, Arne.
You're welcome.
So not good news on Allison, and he talked at the end there about cohesion and players getting to kind of know each other a bit more familiar than new ones, but even he said, players who've been there before. So it's something we talked about at length, wasn't it, pre-match today, and it is apparent, isn't it, that at the moment they're still finding the best positions for the new players.
Yeah, exactly. The chemistry we've been talking about, he mentioned after the game, you still understand that because you got 2, 3, 4 players involved that they haven't been playing before, they need to adapt to the new team, and the new team have to adapt to them. One of the players that everyone is focused on is on Florian Wirtz. I think that today he was actually, I agree with him, the first 45 he was linked with the midfield, he was bringing the ball further forward, he was working, and maybe he's missing that last pass, that confidence that we saw last year on, see, right there. I mentioned that one to Daniel, that he thinks ahead of the game, and sometimes the players on the field, the teammate doesn't see what he's seeing, and he will arrive the point where just with the vision, with a glance, they will understand what does he want to do. That was a fantastic ball. It was well catch, but I mean, he's a player that we are going to enjoy. He's a special player, needs to adapt, but it will arrive the point where we're going to enjoy a fantastic player.
Yeah, it takes time, Clarence, doesn't it? This is a player who, you know, impressed in the Champions League last season with Leverkusen with 6 goals and clearly has a lot of attributes that Liverpool will hope very soon are going to start to kind of come to the fore, and he will be linking with those teammates. They'll get used to him.
Yeah, I mean, time is definitely something that you need for these things, but sometimes also just clicks. I've been playing sometimes with new teams. I remember when my Madrid times we had 8 new players and it just clicked it immediately. Chemistry, we use the word chemistry because you don't control that, right? It can come or it can never come. I'm not worried, as I said before, about Arne Slot getting things back in place, about the compact team and the aggressiveness. I mean, we will see that because his teams always have shown that. The thing I believe that is more a thought is that it should not matter who plays to have certain aspects of the game. So I don't agree on that part so much, that it should not be able to, if you rotate, you still want to see your philosophy in place, right? New players and non-new players, football, we understand it. And when you come in as a new big player, you would understand certain things. But on the other hand, it is still early in the season. He has shown his quality as a coach. I'm sure he gets it right very soon.
And we've said countless times, haven't we, this new league phase, you know, you can, as PSG did last season, you can afford to drop some points, you can afford to lose a few games and still be in a position after Christmas to go on, and as they did, go all the way.
Yeah, I mean, it's many games to go, but I think that the main point is the performance tonight wasn't what we're used to seeing from this football club, and it's one of those things when it's 1 game or 2 games that they're conceding chances, but when it's a consistent theme, that's when you start to get concerned. The only positive is that it is early, so the manager will figure out what he believes to be his best team, and that will be the team he's going to focus on, I would say. Maybe 1 change every now and again, 2 changes, which is what we're used to seeing him do. I think tonight was probably a moment where he thought, okay, I can give certain players a game. We see Frimpong playing in the right wing position, Szoboszlai playing in the right back position, which was a little bit of a strange one for me, at least, when I look at Frimpong maybe being brought in as a right back. And then when you look across the pitch, we talk about the positives of Wirtz. Yes, you can see that he is a bit low on confidence at the moment. And that will take time for him to build that. Maybe an international break a lot of the time does help players, you know, kind of reevaluate the situation, and then it allows them to improve. But when you look at across the pitch today and you look at the performances of the players, they're going to know that they weren't good enough. They're going to know. They're going to know it doesn't matter what we think. As the players, which we all have been, you go home, you're on that flight home, 3.5 hours, 4-hour flight home, thinking to yourself, we were off it today.
Yeah, Danny, but don't you think that is the time to prove these kind of things? It's not the time right now that you won every single game of the season apart from the last one. You won the first one in Champions League. You arrive here to Galatasaray. You know that you're going to have an important game at the weekend and also an international break. It's a moment right now to give a go to, I want to try Frimpong there and Szoboszlai behind. Yeah. I want to try Coates with Berth over there. Let's see if the chemistry works and not McAllister with Gravenberch. Right now is the moment, because later on the season, maybe you don't have that opportunity to do it.
Exactly. I think the strategy what we ask him about, he's implementing it. He's not saying it, but it's clearly that he has mentioned many times, I need to give players minutes, I need to manage minutes, I need to manage fitness. So he's definitely having a different approach from last year when he said, okay, these are my first 11, and until they actually, you know, don't have any gas anymore, he goes.
Maybe tonight would have been, I'm not saying a question in selection, maybe a night would have been for Chiesa tonight. He's been one of Liverpool's best players coming off the bench, scoring goals, creating goals off the bench. Wasn't fit enough to play tonight, but you'd have probably, in my opinion, maybe he would have got a start tonight, given what he's done so far in the season. So I think when you look at the collective of the squad, we're seeing a consistent theme of late goals. Late goals after late goals after late goals, and it's like some point tonight I'm looking thinking, when's the goal coming? I'm seeing 90 minutes, I'm like, all right, there might be another goal. And tonight, where we see, okay, the miracles that we've been seeing won't last. So you've got to figure out how to get yourselves in positions that it's not a consistent theme that you're scoring last-minute goals in the last 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 10 minutes. It's too consistent. It needs to be the Liverpool we're used to seeing is a team that dominates. 2-3 goals clear. And that's not easy to do in professional football, so I'm not saying that's a given. You have to earn the right to do that. But tonight wasn't a night I don't think any of us would have expected.
Well, you asked the question earlier on, when was the last time they didn't score a goal? And it was that night against PSG when they were knocked out of the Champions League. And that was the same time they'd had 2 defeats in a week as they have this week. Let's hear then from Captain Virgil van Dijk with Gabriel Clark.
Virgil, your manager said at the weekend Crystal Palace deserved to win. What about tonight? Did Galatasaray deserve to win?
Difficult to say at the moment. I think obviously they got the penalty, they got a couple opportunities basically through our mistakes in possession, losing the ball in unnecessary moments, a bit sloppy. But yeah, listen, you stand here with a loss, and that's obviously the frustrating part, especially after the terrible performance that we had over the weekend. Yeah, take us on the chin, and we have to recover quickly and be ready for Stamford Bridge.
How do you explain the sort of self-inflicted moments, the giving the ball away, the chances you are conceding?
It's a bit of both, you know. I think we take the risk in possession, so obviously we try to find a spare man in the midfield, and that comes with a risk as well. And it happened many times in the first half, especially that we break through them and we you know, go at the last line and then maybe have to do better there. But at moments as well that we make the wrong decisions, and then and they break on us and become dangerous. And yeah, that's a frustrating part. But losing is just, I don't want to curse here, but it's bad. And we want to improve quickly and we want to win games. And obviously we start the season fantastically with all the wins that we had. And now these 2 games losing obviously doesn't feel nice. But I've been in the game quite a long time, so it's all about just keep working and head down, and that's the main thing.
Yeah, you have new players, of course, and it takes, as the manager said, it takes players time to adapt to a new team. How close to the rhythm that you want, to having the authority that you had in games last season, are you?
I think we showed it already in many games already this season. We couldn't show it for 94 minutes, unfortunately, yet. But it's absolutely normal that you need time if you come to a new place, new team, new demands, new on and off the pitch. It's absolutely normal. And obviously nowadays you don't get the time from the outside world, so it's pretty, you know, you have to be strong mentally and learn. So and everyone is obviously in their own world at times as well. But I'm very confident and I'm you know, I'm not worried that things will click anyway. But we have to keep working. We have to keep improving and keep going at it and stick together. That's what we always been doing. Definitely in my time at Liverpool, and you know, we had a fantastic year last year. We had a good start in terms of the points tally this year. Many good moments during the games that we played so far. But obviously losing twice now in a row doesn't feel good, and that's what we have to improve.
No panic.
No, listen. Obviously, like I said, I hate losing, and there shouldn't be panic, but there should be definitely improvement needed. But I think it was a big step up in terms of the willingness, the hard work that we put in from the weekend. But that was not really too difficult because in the weekend was just bad. But now we have to convert chances, don't get penalty away today, and don't make, you know, stupid mistakes at times. And it's far too easy to say these things than to actually make it happen. But it's a process, and we have to keep going. Like I said as well, and like you mentioned, and new players coming in. It's not about the new players. We maybe the focus is a little bit too much on that at times, but it takes a bit of time as well. And we keep working, stick together, and on to the next one. That's the only thing we can focus on.
Thank you, Virgil.
Thank you very much.
See you soon.
On to the next one, and the next one, of course, will be tea time Saturday at Stamford Bridge to face Chelsea, who incidentally are the only other team who they've actually been to more times in European competition and failed to come away with a win. It's 3 times now they've faced Galatasaray here in Turkey in European competition and come away without the win. And Galatasaray tonight, you could see the way they celebrated that. It meant an awful lot, especially especially after their opening day defeat to this competition 5-1 to Frankfurt. So they will feel very buoyed by that and their season. Meanwhile, Liverpool, as you mentioned, they're going home on the plane tonight. They'll probably be going straight to the airport, and it's a quick turnaround, isn't it? You've got to very quickly get yourself into a different mindset, and that's really important after a game like this.
That's the beauty. That's the beauty of sports, especially the beauty of football. You have to turn page fast because you have another opportunity to make things better very quickly, and the best teams know how to do that very, very quickly. Forget your bad moments, learn from them, assess them, and the speed of football always comes with it. Tomorrow they're assessing the game already, discussing what needs to be improved, and then it's about working.
And fine margins, because of course there was a penalty awarded to Liverpool, and as Arne Slot correctly pointed out, there was no appeal, it happened, and then it goes to VAR, and you all in our kind of viewing area agreed that the right decision was ultimately made, Daniel.
Yeah, I mean, I think in the moment, you know, you may be looking, thinking, ooh, you know, what's going on? It looks like it's going to be a pen, but once you see the replay back, you see he clearly gets the ball first, and of course the follow through on Konate is the reason why he's gone down the way he's gone down, because he's kicked the player's foot.
Like it happened with Osman first half. He was also shooting, and a tackle came in, and he shot the foot of the adversary. But it looked like a penalty in the beginning, but then the anticipation, both legs were in the same position. It's unfortunate, but as a Liverpool side, you don't want to be depending on these type of moments. Like you said, Luis, you want to be able to go in and concede less of these easy, let's say, chances of the adversary getting dangerous position because of your errors.
Well, Liverpool's fans are still up there waiting to be told they can leave the stadium, pondering the performance they've seen. But I imagine they have found this evening to be quite extraordinary, as we have, in terms of experiencing a football game here at the Rams Arena. And let's hear from someone who knows these Liverpool players very well from his time in the Premier League, Ilkay Gündogan. Now, of course, with Galatasaray, is with Gabriel.
Well done. You had some famous nights and days playing Liverpool, but that was a heck of a night.
Yes, it feels very special, to be honest with you. I think, especially coming from a bad defeat in the first game of the Champions League campaign, coming here to our own stadium, playing against an amazing Liverpool team, obviously, we knew that it's going to be very tough, and that we needed a special performance, a special team performance, first of all. And then obviously to convert the chances that we will get, and I think this is exactly what we did. Obviously sometimes in the game you cannot control everything, because the opponent is just so strong, has special players. So it was about a big team performance, like I said before. It was about defending together, suffering together also through periods of the game. And that's all we did, and I think this makes this performance even more special, and we are all proud today that we were able to beat this Liverpool side.
Galatasaray's first home win in the Champions League for 7 years, believe it or not, and for a lot of these supporters, well, you could see what it meant at the end. To be part of that must be quite something so early into your career here.
You can feel it. I mean, believe me, this club... It's not just special to me personally. I feel like it's special to so many people, and the size and the potential that this club still has, it's just incredible. I mean, if you were here tonight, and have seen that atmosphere, one of the opponent players came to me in the game and asked me if the atmosphere is always incredible like that.
A Liverpool player asked you?
During the game, yeah. So I think...
We'll mention no names.
No names. But you can see, that even for them, it was incredible to play in front of that crowd, it's just something that obviously when you get that connection, and the performance mirrors, the performance of the team mirrors the performance of the people on the stands, you can get these kind of special nights.
So what's possible then? Because they've spent money, obviously, on Victor, who's delivered tonight. They spent money on your good self and persuaded you to be part. Okay, no money, but I'm sure you're not here for nothing, if you know what I mean. But you're here to win something, to do well. What about in Europe in the Champions League? Because that feels like the step for this team under Okan.
I mean, obviously there's a little momentum right now after that game. But I think it's important to analyze also this game very well, because there are still things that we have to improve on. I feel like individually we are so good, you know, and maybe even ourselves we don't realize sometimes how good we could be. I think we need to work also, you know, on a few patterns as a team, and this game can show us exactly, you know, what's possible, you know, how much potential is in this team, you know, if we do everything as a team. And that's something I'm even more proud of tonight, to be honest, because I've seen all the players on the pitch, you know, playing for us. I've seen them sacrificing everything for the team. And if we keep doing that, honestly, I feel like there's so much more potential for us to win more football games.
Good to see you. Well done.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Good to see you.
Ilkay thinks that this team can do special things this season, and I'm sure if they keep bringing teams here and giving them the kind of experience they gave Liverpool tonight, they may well. That was quite interesting, wasn't it, that one of the Liverpool players asked him a question. Daniel, you kind of had an interesting quizzical expression on your face when he said that.
No, I mean, I'm surprised. Yeah, I didn't expect a player to ask someone that, but you know, everyone do what you want to do, man. You know, whatever vibe you're on. I think obviously Anfield's got a great atmosphere on Champions League nights. This was special, don't get me wrong, but I think just lock in, man. Asking players questions about the atmosphere in the games, obviously surprising, but just stay locked in.
Well, we did see him, didn't we, come out when we were in the tunnel. I don't know if you noticed, he was very much making, and it might have been mind games, going over to all the Liverpool players and giving them kind of as much as he could, a little bit of pressing the flesh, and to the coaching staff. I guess you've got to use every trick in the book, haven't you, Clarence?
Who knows? He was the one asking the question. Do you like it here? You know. So we don't know. These are the mind games that are played, and it's all part. I like the interview. Very experienced, and he sent quite some messages to his teammates as well. This is a club with it's a sleeping giant, actually, but for like the last 30 years, we can say, because this has been like this for many years, you know.
Yeah. So I think it's about 23, 24 years since they won a European trophy, didn't they?